Okay, today I'm going to talk about technology in the classroom and how technology is going to basically dictate teachers' careers and how we need to adapt to new technology. Technology changes that will impact education during my career. We're going to have to reteach what we have been taught. During my student teaching, I learned from a traditional teacher. She was a great traditional teacher, but she really struggled with technology. If you're not able to teach students how to use technology and how to change from traditional lecture-based teaching to project-based learning and other adaptive ways to learning, we're really failing our students. Every student has such a unique way of learning. You need to figure out how to teach to each student. Right now, there's so many different applications and resources to teach each student, and each student's learning at their own pace. So now we can really look at trying to change the way we teach each student to help each student with each problem. How might this affect my teaching? Students obtain 10% of the knowledge that they hear from a lecture 2 years after the lecture. This tells us we really have to get away from lecture-based learning. A good way to do this is focus on more project-based learning where students are figuring out actual problems. It says that engagement in something helps you remember things a lot better. Also, we need to start treating our students as peers so we can solve problems together. As we look into this, the role of teachers in general is going to drastically change. Teachers are going to have to learn to adapt to a world around them, or they're going to become outdated if they are not able to teach students how to relate to an ever-changing world. In order to do this, they are going to have to become facilitators of knowledge and teach students how to obtain knowledge instead of lecturing on it. Once again, we're going to have to figure out project-based learning and other ways to creatively teach our students to help them better obtain knowledge. And the amazing thing about this, we have so many resources at our fingertips, but we have to understand how to use these resources. The learning environment. We're going to have to flip the classroom around to be more facilitators of knowledge. The physical design of the classroom is not going to matter. From a very young age, we're going to be teaching students how to use learning applications to learn at their own pace. So basically, the classroom, all it's going to need is a computer and Wi-Fi. We're not going to, a lot of the modern technology that we have in the classroom, it becomes obsolete so quickly that we should invest in personal computers and teaching students how to be self-learners. IXL and iReady are two programs that learning applications that we use in our 4th and 5th grade class. The reason I like IXL so much is it basically the questions get harder or easier based on the questions that a student is getting right. So these students can work at their own level, and also they can be challenged based on how well they're doing. iReady is also a very good program. We work with iReady with students that are behind level in math and reading. One of the reasons I like this program so much is because it gives you immediate assessments. So now it's no longer the teacher's job to try to make assessments on where the student's at. The student goes through this program and can make its own assessments. School design and operations. The cost of college education in 1971 for a private university was $1,800, and for a public education it was $500. In 2011, those costs have gone to $3,200 for private and $10,000 for public. We're going to have to figure out how to bring the cost down. If you take away the buildings and dorms, you're going to drastically lower the costs. You can learn from just about anywhere. Also, you can have communication with your fellow classmates by just setting up a FaceTime or a live chat. So we're going to see a huge change in higher education. It is going to be very important that these changes are being passed down in elementary, secondary, and primary education. If we are not teaching them how they're going to learn in a higher education, we are failing them. Also, basically, we're going to have to adapt and teach our students how to adapt into a world that is ever changing. If we are not successful in doing this as teachers, we are basically failing our students. In order to do this, we have to be self-learners and constantly be learning how to adapt. So what we learned a few years ago might not be relevant to what we need to know for the future.